Welcome back to the Social Marketing Hour with Manuel Suarez. My name is Jimmy Stearns, and I'm the creative director here at AGM Marketing, which stands for Attention Grabbing Media in Largo, Florida. This particular episode is special because Manuel is interviewed by one of our VIP clients, Vick Tipnes. One of the things they go over in this episode is how you make your own economy, and the economy doesn't make you, how you take control over that. Another one is Manuel goes over some steps, 3 to be exact, on how to follow the same path that he has with the content distribution. Another one is omnipresence, not just online, but in person as well. Everywhere that you go, how to become omnipresent with your brand. Manuel speaks about legacy, content unicorns, and how to bring your brand to the next level. So let's go ahead and jump right in and take a listen.
Hey guys, welcome to the Vick Tipnes Show. So at the Vick Tipnes Show, we're always focused on providing value to help you rise to your full potential. That is what we do here. So you're gonna find guests that we have on the show that have equally risen from the ashes, like the phoenix. So today we're honored to have Manuel Suarez on the show, and Manuel Suarez is not only a very successful businessman, runs a very successful marketing agency. He's also a very dear friend of mine, so I'm happy to have you on. I know he's a little pissed actually because he wasn't the first guest, and he told me he wanted to be the first guest on the show.
I'll get over it.
But because of the hurricane, there were a lot of people that canceled, and I think you ended up being the number 3 guy on the show.
I'll accept it, man. I'll take it.
Man.
I'll take
it. So.
Pleasure to be here, Vic. It's an absolute pleasure. This is something that's very exciting and changing the world, man. We're gonna make a big impact. So I'm glad that I'm on board and just flowing power to you and figuring out how we do what we got to do to make this world a better place, man.
No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. So, so let's give these guys some value today. So I think some of the messages that I get the most are, hey, who does your PR? Right. What I initially think is, and what I know is a lot of people think they can just give their PR to somebody and they're just going to handle all of it. And I think you know as well as I do that I think some are probably, and you can obviously talk about this, but probably your most successful clients are people that are heavily involved with their branding.
100%.
As opposed to a person that just says, hey, I want to write a check, make me famous, give me good PR. And all of that. So, for you guys listening, if you're a real estate agent, you're a businessman, you're an executive, you're a small business, and you're trying to build your brand. I got to tell you that you're not going to build your brand by just disconnecting from it and saying, hey, I'm going to hire somebody to do it. So talk a little bit about that in terms of like kind of your best case scenarios when you manage obviously a lot of big brands. What have you seen that's successful and not successful as it relates to people having that ideology?
Yeah, so on the marketing company that I manage, it's called AGM, Attention Grabbing Media. I've actually failed a lot of times trying to help people build their brands. I've succeeded a lot of times. Fortunately, I've succeeded more than I have failed, and that's why I'm here today. Usual reason for failure, aside from, maybe we got to fix some things on our systems and whatever it is that we have going on in the marketing side of things, is that these people don't commit to their responsibilities.
What's their responsibilities?
So there's anybody that wants to build a legacy, right? Like legacy is something that you're creating that's going to go beyond your body, right? So a perfect example of that is my father. You know that I lost my father 19 months ago. He was an incredible human being. He created a lot of content. So we put him in front of the camera, and he was amazing. So he went very deep into the process of building a legacy, which is something that you're doing that goes beyond your body, something that is going to continue impacting people for generations to come. What these people have in common, so Dr. Eric Berg, Mr. Vick Tipnes, my father, Frank Suarez, everybody that I work with that is amazing, they have this one thing, that commitment with their message. They know they have a message that's going to impact the lives of somebody else somehow.
Yeah.
Like in your case, when you talk business, anybody can actually I just went to dinner with you the other day, right? And you started talking, my wife and myself, we spent that night with you, and you start talking about your story with Blackstone Medical, right? How you founded that company and how did you come up with a concept that nobody else had before? Yeah. And I was just like in awe, because it's the entrepreneurship and the ideas and the execution of that idea that takes one to success. So you give people content and then it wakes up their mind. So when you were saying that to me, you weren't creating content. You were just committed to your message.
Yeah.
You were giving us that value. You were sharing that story. and my mind just gets going. So I get myself to a whole new level just by hanging around you. We have this beautiful thing called the internet, social media world, in which instead of you having to go to dinner with people and make them realize stuff that they should be doing, you can talk in social media and make them realize stuff and help at scale. And that's a beautiful thing. So the first thing that an individual has to have to get on this journey is to be committed to their message. They know they have value. They know they have information that can transform their lives in whatever area that is, whether that's entrepreneurship or that's like health or that's like, it doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. Tax, accounting, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
You have value that when you give it to somebody else and somebody else applies it, they actually do better in life. And that commitment is the number one thing that people don't have, or maybe they're obsessed with how many likes and how many followers and just the vanity metrics. And instead of being committed to the message and their superpower and their ability to influence and impact people, when that commitment is not in, then it becomes a challenge for them to succeed and they give up. And maybe they're too motivated by money. Maybe they just want money instead of impact, instead of legacy. They just want to create business and revenue. And that leads to usually failure.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting point, right? So you talk about people that are creating content and there's people that are simply just documenting content, right? So it's a huge difference. So when I see people that are like, hey, I want to have a brand and I want to have this and I want to have that, but they're not willing to put in the work. So give these guys some idea of how much work goes into building these brands and how long it takes, right? Because there's a lot of people that think they're going to get on social media and in 6 months they got a brand.
Right.
You have those unicorn cases where somebody just goes viral right away, right? And within 6 months, everybody knows their name. But you can't really bank on that happening for everybody. Right. So talk a little bit about that. Because I think with all the messages I get, from time to time, that's one big thing. It's like, man, I want to build a brand like you. And I'm thinking, dude, I've been grinding for years.
Right.
You've been grinding for years. So it's like, how long does it take?
So here's major advice that I would give to anybody. Before you start trying to be Vick Tipnes or trying to go down this route of being a content creator and somebody that's actually impacting people for your message, get some results under your belt. Do well with your business. Do something special to talk about.
Yeah. So here's what he's saying too. And I think this is a great point. So you have a lot of people that don't have shit to show, but yet they want to be an influencer.
That's right.
And they want to be like, they want to speak at events, right? And it's like, okay, nowadays having a successful company is one thing, okay, but to what degree? Are you the number one company in your sector? Have you grown at double or triple digits consecutively over 5 years or 10 years or whatever? So what he's talking about, guys, is huge. I mean, I think you want to get on social media, you want to create a brand, great. And I think everybody should do that. I think in today's day and age, if you're a business person and you're a business and you're not driving social media content, you're just missing the mark in such a huge degree.
It's an opportunity.
It's such a huge opportunity. And what people don't understand is you got to have the stats to show.
Absolutely.
Right? Because if you have somebody come to you as a client and they have stats to show, it's just like the best dream that you can have as a client, right? Because now you can exploit and advertise all of those things that person's has been doing.
Yeah, like what gives me credibility with you is what you've done, what you accomplish. I mean, I like you. You're one of my best friends. We get to hang out with each other. But the fact that you have done what you have done makes me always, okay, what do you got to say, Vick? Let me listen to your viewpoint. Let me pay attention to what you got to say, because I know that you walked along this particular road yourself and you've accomplished success. Like in my case, you have one of your vehicles. Vick has 7, right? So one of your vehicles says the license plate, no MBA. Same here, right?
On the Bentley.
On the Bentley. It's on the Bentley.
No
right?
MBA.
Yeah. So people look at the vehicles and then, it's a great thing because we're trying to make people understand the opportunities are not dependent on the freaking system. The opportunities are dependent on you.
Yeah.
Like I'm an example of that. I'm a complete failure, ex-drug addict, ex-criminal. 2010, declared bankruptcy. 2023, I produced $10 million EBITDA in one company. Mm-hmm. We're going to break $50 million in revenue this year in another company. I'm not supposed to be successful. My friends still look at me and they wonder what kind of drugs I'm dealing with because it's not supposed to be the way, right? So we still live in a society in which everybody agrees that there's a system to make you successful, and you have broken that system. I have broken that system, and we come from a very similar background. 2010, I declared bankruptcy. At the same, like people ask you at the beginning, like, so what is your motivation? And a lot of people, the cliches, like, oh no, I just want to help people. I want to listen. At the beginning, dude, you just want to make money, right? Yeah. That's the reality. So in my case, I looked at my kids. I got 3 of them. I got 4 now. At that time, I have bankruptcy, 3 kids. Oh shoot, what the heck am I gonna do, right? I look at them and now the responsibility is not just me. It's all these little bodies, right? All these little beings. And I said, I got to do something about it. So I just got going and we started building and I started looking for opportunities, right? There's a philosopher that I've read a lot of things about, old philosopher and old Seneca. It says, what does it mean to get lucky? Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So I got obsessed over educating myself and finding an opportunity. That led to finding an opportunity. And I started a business. And that business was taking my father's great business from the small little island of Puerto Rico with 2 million people with no expansion across the United States. And we started doing it in the United States. We went international and that company took off. But it's with the strategy of like building a legacy. That's what we do. Like we do $4 million a month in revenue and I can spend $0 in advertising. Like I can do $0 and I'll still bring in $4 million. How do we accomplish that? With this particular formula of just giving value, educating, inspiring, giving people something that I know is going to make their lives better and doing that consistently. So I found that opportunity. I was able to find somebody that I like to describe as a content unicorn. A content unicorn is somebody like Vick, somebody that has the ability to get in front of a camera and just talk and just give value and just dump his mind, which is incredible. It's full of knowledge. It's full of information. If you guys just pay attention, you can get so much value just by listening for a few minutes. You take that value and you implement it and you get results. So getting behind a content unicorn, like somebody that wants to create an impact, that's something that is just going back to your question, Vic. How do you get started with this process? Like,
how do you get started?
It's not an overnight thing.
Okay, so let's give a scenario. You got a person that's like, hey, they're starting a business. Maybe they're a real estate agent. Maybe they're starting a healthcare business. They're starting some sort of business.
They got some knowledge.
Energy business.
But they got knowledge, right? They got some information that's valuable.
They got some information. They got, maybe they got a little bit of money in their pocket and they're like, hey, okay, I'm going to start this business. I'm going to start this solar business. I'm going to start this, real estate, healthcare business, whatever. And maybe they got a few thousand followers on Instagram. Okay. What does that person do? Where do they go from that? Because that's the typical baseline. What would be your recommendation? What do they do?
So the name of the game is attention, right? If you get attention, you can win the game. It's not just about attention because there's a lot of influencers that have attention and they're broke, right? But that is a big starting point. If you have a product or service that can sell to the world, then the number one thing that you need to make it is attention.
Yeah, but what do you do? So you said, listen, look, you're selling solar. Even me with sleep. I'm the largest sleep testing provider in the country, if not the world. But I never talk about sleep.
That was not the system that you figured out. That's not how you scale.
I don't talk about it. Well, sleep's not.
Your content has nothing to do with the success of your company.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my content have nothing to do.
Correct.
With driving revenue and sales. Okay. When I look at entrepreneurs that have businesses, I think one of the things that they really miss the mark on is they think that, I'm gonna create a page for my business. Nobody cares anymore about your page for your business. Nobody cares.
Right.
People want to follow an individual. People also want to invest with an individual, right? If you look at what happened in 2008 with Lehman's collapse and all this stuff, this whole idea that these companies have been around and are going to be around for hundreds and hundreds of years has just died.
Totally.
Right? So people are now saying, hey, particularly with the invention of the Shark Tank, people are now saying, hey, I want to invest with individuals. I want to do business with individuals. Everybody that I do business with are individuals.
Right.
I don't do business with companies.
You got to invest in the jockey, right?
Yeah.
Who's the one driving that engine?
Yeah. Even my insurance broker, with the insurance company, I don't even know the name of who insures us. I mean, well, who does your health insurance and who does your property insurance? I don't know. All I know is I got one guy I call and I'm like, hey, what do we need to do? So I do business with friends and people that I have relationships with. But anyway, going back to my point is, right. I think like if you're that young entrepreneur and you've got this business and you spend time trying to market that business on social media, unless it drives revenue for you, I think it's a grave mistake that you're making. I think you got to create your personal brand. Totally. So how does that person go about that?
Right. So this is a great conversation, right? Because if you look at Blackstone Medical Services, your company does not depend on a social media strategy. Zero, right?
We don't even have a Facebook. We don't even have a Facebook page.
It's crazy, right? So you're an old school entrepreneur business model that was built just from a genius idea. Mm-hmm. that nobody can compete against, and you crush the market and scale at an aggressive pace. So my path has been very different. My path has been developing brands that can benefit from attention on social media. So I didn't develop what you have. Like, I learned those things from you. What I did on social media was, so again, I created a brand of Amazon bed sheets.
Yeah.
And I started that brand from scratch. I found a way to put a label on it. There's something called private labeling on Amazon, in which you guys have no idea how many of these microphones that are called Shure are being sold under other brand names, but they're exactly the same thing. So I figured that out. I got a bed sheet. It was called 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗢𝗪. I put another label on it. I called it 𝗙𝗙𝗟𝗪𝗪 collection. A year and a half later, sold it for millions of dollars. All right. So that was my process for that brand. I used social media to get attention for that brand. That didn't require a personal brand. So it depends on what type of business, Vick.
Yeah.
Like, it can vary dramatically from what you're trying to accomplish. Like, the personal brand element, like, I have an 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗪𝗪𝗪 marketing company. That marketing company is built on my personal brand. If you take me out of the equation, we don't exist.
Yeah.
Like, literally don't exist. I'm the one that created that brand, the personal brand. I have been doing my first ever presentation. I got a select audience that it's like e-commerce, Amazon sellers, brand owners. And I started doing webinars and seminars to them. And my first ever presentation was January 2017. So if you look at time-wise, 6 years of putting content out consistently. And now I have one of the fastest growing marketing companies in the country. The personal brand got me there. So it depends. What are you trying to build? Let's say that you are a gym trainer and you want to get like your calendar booked out. Social media is a path for that. You're going to get so many more clients that you could possibly service. Let's say that you want to build a supplement brand. Social media has no competition, right? So if you get attention on social media and you become a personal brand, you know, my client, you're familiar with him, Dr. Eric Berg, he's going to do $85 million this year, 1 year, right? And this guy doesn't spend any money on ads, all right? $85 million on the back of a personal brand. All he does is create content. How do you execute on this particular process? Like, if you look at your brand that you're trying to create, and you know your brand will benefit from attention, and you think about you as a personal brand, you know you have a message, you have the ability to communicate, you want to be in front of a camera, you feel comfortable in front of the camera, because if you're not comfortable, things are going to fall apart. Yeah. You got to want to have the camera,
and it comes
right?
through too.
Absolutely, right? So you got to know how to communicate and get that message out there and give that value. And if you do so, then being a personal brand is a great path to take, because right now, the opportunity to get attention at scale, it's incredible. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, you name it, right?
What do you think's the best platform for people?
Right now, the easiest one to take off organically, it's not one, there's 3, not only platforms, placements. So as you guys know, we all use social media, but we don't only use social media. We use individual platforms, but we don't only use individual platforms. We use individual placements. So Facebook is not just Facebook. Facebook is Facebook feed, Facebook stories, Facebook reels. The opportunity right now, I could summarize it in 4 individual placements to capture, especially if you're trying to grow without having to spend too much money on advertising. Facebook reels, Instagram reels, TikTok, YouTube shorts. That's where the power is at. Like, we're going back now, right now, to a 2012 era in which posting organically on Facebook will get you millions of people. That's what's happening. Like, you can have 1,000 followers and still make a video go viral. The other day, we created an account for a client of ours, Dr. Living Good. He has a brand called Living Good Daily. Great guy.
Is he living good?
He's living, dude. Do you believe that this is he's actually Vick? This is his actual name.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is he living good?
It's crazy because he's a doctor, right?
I love it.
What a great name to have for a brand. This dude is amazing. He does $45 million a year. Another personal brand that does amazing, right? Great marketer too, but a great educator.
Just as a sidebar, so I've been in the healthcare space for a long time, right? So there's a doctor. He's a urologist.
What's his name? I can't wait to hear this.
Dr. 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗪𝗪𝗪.
That's concerning, man. That's concerning. I wouldn't.
True story.
I would have a tough time walking.
I'm not going to give up
clinic.
which city he's in, but if he's watching this, hey, Dr. Steele, how you doing?
I wonder how many Dr. John Steele urologists exist out there, man.
Isn't that funny?
Good attention for him. But anyways, this guy, we created the TikTok channel, and the first ever TikTok video gets 1.2 million views. You can't do that anywhere else. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I mean, your TikTok channel blew up, man.
Yeah.
800 followers. Like, that, right?
I think I was on TikTok for 4 months.
Growing like crazy.
4 months.
Crazy virality.
Crazy.
Again, no advertising. It's just booming left and right.
We don't boost anything or
absolutely. Attention at scale. So there's opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have a message and you believe that your message can help you grab attention and you believe that that attention is going to be a pathway for you to sell your products and services, then you got to commit and you got to do that at scale. And here's the other thing to remember. When you're doing this, the first 6 months or the first year, don't even pay too much attention to the numbers. You got to feel comfortable with yourself.
How much should people be posting? So let's say that you're, you know, you're on social media. How many videos should you be posting on, you know, you talked about the different platforms, right? The different avenues per platform. You have stories, you have reels, and you have posting. So Facebook, like how many reels should people be posting a day, you know, on TikTok?
My favorite subject, right? So which is the process of omnipresence. I call that omnipresence. You want to try to be godlike because here's the thing. People that are on Facebook, many times don't go to Instagram, many times don't go to YouTube. People that are on Instagram Reels, like my wife, she only consumes Instagram Reels. She doesn't do anything else. So if you don't post your stuff on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or any other platform, you're not going to get her to see your message, right? So you will be missing out opportunities to capture audiences if you don't become omnipresent. Somebody told me one time and they said, well, I think I should only do one platform because Elon Musk is actually only on one platform. He only posts on Twitter. And I'm like, are you seriously comparing yourself to one of the biggest billionaires of this planet? Like, do you think that you have that power to just use one platform and go viral like Elon Musk? If you do so, go ahead and try it. Go ahead. I'm going to keep on going everywhere because I want to be at some point where he's at.
Yeah, but I think, okay, but here's the thing, right? Here's the misconception. People want to get attention because they want to have a brand. And if they want to have a brand, it's because they want to be known. So you bring up an interesting point, right? So let's take Elon Musk and let's take Jeff Bezos, for example. Let's say there was a meeting and somebody's trying to raise money, okay? And somebody calls Jeff Bezos to the meeting. Jeff Bezos shows up. He shows up to a Starbucks. That's where the meeting's at, Starbucks. And he shows up in a Prius. And he gets out of the Prius. Nothing wrong with the Prius. Gets out of the Prius and he walks in with jeans and a t-shirt and some, you know, Adidas sneakers on. What does everybody think? Everybody thinks, wow, that's so cute. Here's a guy that could buy any car he wants, and he's driving a Prius. Now, all of a sudden, it becomes fashionable, and it's cute, and it's like, wow, he's thinking of the environment. But the only reason he can do that is because he may not be on TikTok, but he's on your phone, and you're using his shit every single day.
That's true.
Right? Elon Musk may not be on Instagram, but when you stop at a stoplight, his post is right next to you. Oh, there's a Tesla. Oh, there's another Tesla.
Everywhere.
So by the time when we finish this interview and you're driving, you got a Tesla. So when you're sitting in the Tesla, you're thinking about fucking Elon. Okay?
I don't use it anymore, by the way.
Yeah, now he's got these other exotic cars. It's a disease of hanging out with me.
You brainwash me along the way. Yeah.
But those products speak for themselves. So what I try to tell people is the only reason Elon doesn't have to be on Instagram is because everybody's using his stuff. That's a post. Because when you go back to omnipresence, what you're basically trying to say is you want the person to be thinking about you. But when you're driving a Tesla and you're on Amazon and you're ordering your shampoo, you're thinking about Amazon.
That's right.
You're thinking about the product Jeff Bezos created. You're thinking about Tesla. You're thinking about when you see a fucking rocket now, you think about Elon. So that is the omnipresence. So the thing that I always tell people, and I did it in a couple of videos, I told you, go buy a Lamborghini, right? Because going back to that original example of Jeff Bezos, now let's say that somebody's trying to raise some money and Joe Blow shows up. Well, they don't know Joe Blow. Joe Blow shows up in a Prius. Now all of a sudden, Joe Blow's broke. Well, who invited this guy to the party?
Totally.
Right? Because now he shows up in a Prius. Nobody knows that the cat could be worth $1 billion, but nobody knows. Right? Nobody knows. So that's why I tell people, if you want to attract the right attention and you want to be omnipresent, you don't have the ability right now to say, hey, you're Jeff Bezos, you're Elon Musk, right? Very few people on the planet have that level of success.
Those are real unicorns.
Those are just
they don't exist, man.
They don't exist. So for 99.9999% of everybody else, you've got to be able to show up at that meeting and your business card, right? Your social media branding is the thing you pull up in. You show up in a Lamborghini, you show up in a Rolls Royce, all of a sudden You're the Jeff Bezos. That's the simplicity of it.
That's right.
And a lot of people miss that mark. So going back to what you're saying about being omnipresent, you got to be omnipresent, but you got to be omnipresent and give the right message. But that's why I tell people, like, you got to invest in your image, because you got to think with you show up.
100%.
Like, what do you want as a businessman? You want people to be bringing you offers and deals and saying, hey, Manuel, come do business with me. Hey, I got this project I want you to do, blah, blah, blah. But if you're the best kept secret in town, nobody's calling you.
It's that old quote that I think is potentially false, man, and implanted across society. Don't judge a book by its cover. People are going to judge you by your cover, no matter what.
Everybody by the cover.
That's just the way it is, right? That is a false statement, man. Yeah, people are going to, oh, she's so nice inside. He's so nice inside. Listen, people, this is something that you guys got to get, right? Like, I can tell you, they're going to judge you by your looks, what you're wearing, what your house looks like, what your building is like. That's just the way it is, And here's the thing, like, Vick and I started doing business together maybe about close to a year ago, right? If you don't see me being a player too, you don't trust me, because you're trying to play with people that are big thinkers also, right? You're going to open up doors to the ones that are on the same page as you.
Absolutely.
You're not going to bring a guy in that dresses like crap, that drives a Prius, or like the house looks like crap. But when you walk into my office, you see that I invested a lot of money on that office. You're like, whoa, okay. When you see my house, when you see my car, whatever, okay, this guy, he means business, right? Yeah. So it opens up doors. Of course, it depends on what particular area of business you're at, but it's an inevitable fact of life that, and you brought up such a good point on that subject of omnipresent, because with the Elon Musk example, right, with the Jeff Bezos example, they already won, right?
They already won. They're already
omnipresent
every day.
They're everywhere, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to post on Facebook.
People miss, and that's why people are like, well, they're not on Facebook. They're not on Instagram. Dude,
doesn't matter.
You're at the fucking traffic light. Post is right there.
That's right.
It's right there.
It's omnipresence at major scale.
Front of you.
Right? That's the way it is. I can tell you more people think about Elon Musk probably than God every day.
Yeah.
That might be a controversial statement.
You're being reminded by the products and services.
Controversial statement, all right? But in reality, we're surrounded by that. And, we have a lot of people that are not committed to religion, all right? Yeah. So he's omnipresent at scale. Yeah, that's the fact. So anyways, going back to the strategy, right, for the social media platforms, you want to get attention. This is something that I realized as I give talks and, get on stages and talk to people. The subject of building a legacy and getting attention is something that so many people want, but they also don't understand what it takes to get there, right? Mm-hmm. Like what the process looks like. You got to be willing to be committed. So the number one, I'm going to give you three steps to be able to accomplish a similar path than what Vick has done, what I have done, with some of these major players have done. And we're still doing it because, hey, we're just getting started, right? We're just getting started on this journey ourselves. Oh, yeah. But in reality, if you want to step yourself in this world of creating impact and creating content, number one, you got to commit, all right? Meaning that if you're going to say, I'm going to do 5 videos a week, I'm going to get on the studio. By the way, you guys don't want to know how much we invested on this project. Vick invested. This studio project was a dream. And he went heavy because he wanted to make sure.
This is a house.
This place is insane. You guys don't know, we have a whole team behind the cameras right now. And we're still not done building this place. But this place was built, custom made from the ground up. This place is insane. All right. Yeah. So also going on the subject of, we're trying to make sure they know that we mean business, right? That's part of what we have in this place. You got to commit, rain or shine. Doesn't matter what hurricane comes in. Doesn't matter what happens. You create 5 pieces of content a week. If you're going to say you can only do 1 because that's what you can commit, well, you're competing against yourself. Fine. You're going to be slower, but start doing 1. Once you figure that out and you're consistent, number 2, you can work on quality. And quality, I can tell you, this is quality. This is freaking awesome, right? It's amazing. But I'm not talking about that quality. This is very important for you guys to understand. I'm talking about quality of message. Your message has to be valuable or nobody's going to pay attention. It doesn't matter how amazing your studio is, how fancy your equipment is, nobody's going to care. Your message has to have a beginning and it has to have an end. And at the end of every single piece of content that you put out, you should be able to feel somebody else is getting better with that piece of information. In the end, you want to create a situation in which people are benefiting from you so much that they feel they owe you. And that's quality of the message. Once you have that quality figured out and you're being consistent with that quality, then you can work on quantity of content. Quantity, right? Now you can start pumping on content every day. Dr. Berg puts 14 videos a week. He literally recently brought it down to 7. It's a conversation for another day, but 7 has been better for him for the algorithm on YouTube. 7 videos every single week. 28 new videos every single 4 weeks. And from those videos, we do what we do for Vick, what we do for all our big power players like him, content unicorns. Then we take that content, which we like to call primary content. YouTube is the most important platform. And then from that content, we spread it across the world of the internet. And that becomes Facebook Reels, Facebook posts, quote cards. We listen to Vick's videos. We got people working on this every day. They listen to Vick. They're going to listen to this interview and they grab something powerful from it. And then they make a quote from it. And that becomes a quote card. And then you take some text from the video and you make a text only post. And then you become omnipresent. And now we take this actual video also and we extract the audio and we make that into a podcast. So this is like achieving omnipresence at scale. If you're good, here's a variable, Vick. Here's a one variable. If you're good at delivering content, you're going to get there fast.
Yeah.
If you suck at it, if you're boring, it's going to take you longer.
Yeah.
But if you're committed, I guarantee you that there's no such thing as failure.
Yeah.
There's only a lack of persistence, right? But if you continue doing it, at some point, you're going to get the attention that you need to be able to scale your business, scale your brand, get more services sold, as long as your attention is on delivering value and not on giving value because you need revenue. It's a mindset thing.
Yeah.
You really want to create impact.
Yeah, no, I agree. What do you say to the people that say, you know, my customers aren't on TikTok or my customers aren't on Instagram? Because I hear that a lot. Right?
Crazy.
People are like, and I tell people like, dude, you need to be posted on every platform. Yeah, but my clients aren't on TikTok. And I'm just thinking, dude.
Yeah. Let me tell you, if you're saying,
how do you know that?
If you're saying that, let me tell you a sad truth. You're a loser. All right. And you should change that attitude because it's not my opinion that your customers are on TikTok. You need to Google it and look at the data. All right. Just find out what is the demographic of your client base and just Google TikTok's demographics. By the way, TikTok is the most popular website on the planet. For the first time ever, Google is not the king anymore. You knew that already? So TikTok is more trafficked right now than Google.com.
Wow.
So please, don't come to us and tell us that your audience is not there or whatever, because it's just a loser's mentality of somebody that is lazy, doesn't want to put in the work, and is using that as an excuse to fail. Yeah. That's all it is, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I agree. I mean, look, I think the thing that I know is real to me is sometimes, particularly people that are successful that are buying, you know, high dollar products. Like I'm rarely somebody that if I want something, I'm usually telling somebody, hey, go find so and so, and get me this. And the people that I'm telling are on TikTok, right? Like whether I'm on TikTok or not is irrelevant, right? I'm not necessarily the one buying. So whether somebody's going to go buy a $10 million house or a $1 million car or a $200,000 watch, usually that person's telling somebody, hey, get me this watch. I want this watch.
By the way, didn't you help me connect with a guy on Instagram?
Yeah.
That helped me buy my watch?
Yeah.
And he's like on Instagram using social media.
I buy all my watches from that guy. You check him out. Eric Rivera. Watch Eric on
Instagram. Free promo for the guy, not paid, sponsored.
Promo, not sponsored.
You got Mr. Tipnes and Manuel Suarez talking about you here, bro. Like our watches were bought.
I didn't get this one from him, but I got a lot.
Oh, he's going to be heard. Yeah. He's going to hurt. That's going to hurt his feelings maybe a little bit. Yeah. Should be fine. I got this one a couple of weeks ago from him, and it's Instagram, right? Like I connected with him. That's how I actually transacted the business, right?
Yeah, I'm actually messaged him today because I'm trying to buy this watch.
I know what you're trying to buy. I know.
I'm actually looking at this one.
It's happening. All right. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. I like that one.
That's the rainbow.
You might have to show the audience.
It's the rainbow.
We'll take a screenshot of it and show it in the interview.
The rainbow.
So anyways, you guys got to put in the work and just understand like, and the other thing to keep in mind on this particular journey is obviously if you don't have products and services, attention is worthless, right? So you got to figure that out on the way, and you got to listen to a guy like this to help you come up with the ideas, because he's talking about this process all the time, and you got to put that energy behind creating a brand that has value, right? There's a quote that I learned from one of my favorite marketers in the world, a good friend of mine also and a client, Jason Flatland. He says the social media road, the content road is value plus sincerity equals success. So if you're giving value and you're being sincere about it, that equals success. It's inevitably going to lead towards success. So you apply that formula and you guys are going to inevitably succeed along the way. It's all you got to do is not give up. Don't start doing content on social media, on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And be like, oh yeah, I'm only getting 2 likes 4 months into it, because that's not the way it works. My father was 61 years old when he started creating content. Wow. And he was 61, right? For all of you guys that are like almost senior citizens or beyond, he felt like a crazy old dude for at least a year, talking to himself because nobody was watching. And then he ended up being literally the biggest health influencer in the planet of Latin America. Wow. There's nobody bigger than him. Like, good luck trying to find him. Amazing. Good luck. We have 6 million subscribers on the YouTube channel. We still do. Imagine talking about legacy, right? So this individual passed away 19 months ago. He's still being discovered by 100,000 subscribers every 28 days. 19 months after he passed away. That's legacy at scale, right? Yeah. So now we're still growing like crazy. Yeah. When he passed away, we had 4 million subscribers. Now we're gonna hit 6, and still growing, and it's still incredible. But he is still today our #1 attention grabbing strategy. Still today, he's the one that feeds our company. So there's something that is very bright for those of you guys that just get the machine going, get it rolling, and just stick with it because you believe that there's a future for it. And along the way, if you feel comfortable with your voice already, you can take some of your hard-earned dollars and start investing on getting your content seen by more people.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point there too. Also, is like producing content is one thing, but if you're not taking your profits and you're reinvesting it in your brand in today's environment, it's really dumb. It's really dumb. Like I can't stress that enough. And it's interesting, right? Because people get jaded by money. So somebody starts making money and they got some money in their pocket and they think like, oh, I'm good. And the thing I want to impress upon everybody is that when things are going good, that's when you double down, right? I double down when things are going good, because when things get really fucking bad, I want to be doing really fucking good. So, and the only reason and the only way that I can prevent that is by doubling down on my brand and doubling down on my business through marketing and advertising when things are going good. So if you're doing good and you got some money and you're buying your watch and you're buying your car, but you're not investing in your brand, when shit goes south, which it happens from time to time in this economy, you're going to be stuck. And you're going to be sitting there like, oh man, now I'm weathering the storm. Well, the only reason you're weathering the storm is because you didn't double down when things were going good. You didn't invest in your brand, because I can promise you that even when things are going bad in the economy, there are people that are doing really fucking good.
Absolutely.
Right. So,
well, you're an example of that right now.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard from people that, we're kind of, we're getting ready to weather the storm, in real estate, and we're starting to weather the storm in certain industries. Like, dude, I just ordered another Lamborghini. Like honestly, it's coming in November. Can't wait for it. Right. But I don't even pay attention to that shit. Honestly, I don't watch the news. I hear from time to time, people are like, oh yeah, the economy, and now we're in a recession and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just thinking, yeah, because you guys, the schmucks out there, that when things were going good, didn't think and say, hey, let me invest in my marketing and my branding and get things up to such a high level to where even if the market cut in half, you'd be good. And that's the way I think. So the way I build my businesses in healthcare and the way I think about stuff is I think, okay, if the market went in half, would I still do well? Half. And the answer is yeah.
Absolutely.
Right? If my shit got cut in half, I wouldn't have to cancel my Lamborghini. And that's how you guys got to be thinking. If your shit gets cut in half, you got to sell your fucking condo. You got to sell your fucking Range Rover. Dude, you're not balling. You're not even there yet. You haven't even arrived to the fucking party. I'm just being honest with you. Because I used to think the same way. Like, oh, I got my condo, I got my house, and I got my Range Rover. I'm fucking invincible. Dude, you're not invincible. I could promise you're not invincible. Because if your fucking business gets cut in half, Now all of a sudden you're thinking about getting the fucking, Honda Accord non-S version, the fucking VTEC, okay? The variable valve timing, electronic control, right? That's what you're thinking about. And the only way you get out of that is by putting yourself and your brand so high that when things go south, people are only going to still want to be dealing with you. Your brand is at such a level and your success is at such a level because you've been investing in it in the good times, that now you're just invincible. And that to me is success, guys.
100%.
Like that's success. Success is not having a fucking condo, driving a car and thinking like, oh, okay, I'm cool, everything's great, right? I'm not trying to pinpoint people that drive I had a Range Rover. And that's why I'm talking about Range Rovers. But my point is that like if you're driving a nice car and you got a nice house and you think, oh, you've made it because market's good, you haven't made it.
Yeah, you get to a point, and this is Vick just dropped like golden nuggets there, like a lot. Incredible value right there. So if you guys just listen to what he just said right now, it changes how you operate in life. That's incredible.
You got to double down.
So here's what I would add to that in one sentence, right? First of all, you make your own economy, right? The economy doesn't make you. So I just had a record-breaking month in my marketing agency last month. Like it was our highest ever month in the middle of an economic meltdown and all this drama about like, oh, bear markets or whatever. I don't even think about it. Yeah. I don't even think about it. A couple of days ago, I was like, oh, do I have a 401k? Damn, that probably is getting hit hard because I have a company 401ks. Yeah. Both companies have 401ks. And I'm like, man, poor 401k is probably struggling right now. But I hadn't even thought about it in all this time, right? Yeah. So you have to get to a point in which it doesn't even matter what's happening around you. You're making your own economy. Mm-hmm. You don't fall prey to all the drama going out there and the news and the merchant of chaos and people's opinions and like all that stuff is like completely irrelevant. You want to make sure that you approach life like that. And if you guys are just falling into the negativity of the world, then that's the first thing you got to get rid of. You got to get rid of that, and then success will open up the door. And the other thing is that as you're going down this road, you gotta know that the success that you are creating is something that is 100% on your hands. Nobody else is creating it for you. So you go out there and you create strategies based on what you want to accomplish, and then you push all the pieces in place and you consistently do it, knowing that some things are going to fail. You pick yourself up and keep going, and some things are going to succeed. The world of business, I like to describe it almost like a baseball game or baseball player. Like if you get to succeed 3 out of 10 times and you do that for your entire career, you're a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah, Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer, right? You get enshrined in Canton, right? If you are a businessman and you succeed 3 out of 10 times in your businesses, you're a big balling man. You're gonna dominate. I don't know how many times you failed on side little things that you've done, Vic, but it's a normal process. I have actually tried a lot of things, and some things have worked, and many things have not worked along the way.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. You know, I've failed a tremendous amount in my life, but I think that also the one difference, and it's why I love the business of sport, or the sport of business, right, is because in business, unlike sports, there's no fucking season off. There's no 6 months off and we get to like train and regenerate and shit. And
it's always on.
Fucking red laser light fucking table.
Always
You know
on.
what I mean? It's always on. It's always going, right? So you have to be able to, produce. But to your point, yeah, I've failed so many times. But the good thing is in business is I think the more you fail, the power of experience, you just get luckier. Now I think, you get through you get beat up enough in your 20s and 30s, you get to your 40s, I'm 46 now. So you get to a point where you can kind of fortune tell, right? You can kind of see the future a little bit.
Right.
You're like, oh, I know what's going to happen in this scenario. That makes you a lot luckier, right? Because now I can call shit and everybody's like, wow, how did you call that? I'm like, dude, I just fucking knew. I knew that shit was going to happen. Now, a little bit of it is just awareness, but a lot of it also is experience, right? Experience is huge. That's why, you got a cat here that like, he gets the game. I mean, he's got years and years and years of experience in this business, and he's telling you directly. So if you're new to this whole thing and you're coming on, you're watching the show and you're just like, oh, no, my customers out on TikTok and people told me I'm going to be overexposed and all that bullshit. I mean, you're hearing it directly from this guy right here. It's just the wrong viewpoint. Wrong viewpoint.
And when you find something that works, like Vic just talked about a little while ago, it's not time to start going easy. On the contrary, it's time to go hard.
I hear that shit all day long, dude. I hear that shit all day long from people. Because they're just like, when does it stop? You know, because I was upstairs this morning yelling at a bunch of motherfuckers this morning, dude. Like, I was yelling at everybody this morning. I came home yesterday and I told Victoria, who's 5 months old, I'm looking at her and she starts laughing at me. I'm looking at her. I'm like, I'm surrounded by idiots. I said, Victoria, I'm surrounded by idiots. Idiots. Everywhere is idiots. Everywhere. Idiots crawling on the fucking ceiling, on the floor. Everywhere are idiots, right? And I said this to her out of frustration because, not because I'm surrounded by idiots.
What you say, Vic?
Yeah,
I want to know what you say.
Not because I'm surrounded by idiots, but because I demand so much when things are going good. And people ridge on that and people think, why don't you fucking take a break? Why don't you fucking relax?
No way.
Right? And that's what I'm trying to tell people, like, whether it's social media, whether it's your business operations, when the shit is going good is when you fucking double down.
When things are easy,
double down.
Go hard.
You go fucking hard, man.
That's
and
right.
Everybody's like, oh, fucking relax. I'm like, you fucking relax. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to fucking relax. But that's the difference between somebody who can be affected by the economy and somebody who's not.
Totally.
Right?
100%.
And I watch every dollar today way more than I did 5 years ago.
And then they see us in yachts and planes and with all kinds of things and super vehicles, and they wonder how lucky we got, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's all we got. We got lucky.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, how we probably, like, I don't know, inherited billions of dollars and who knows what. But it's the formula, man.
Mm-hmm.
Putting in the work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, putting in the work and intelligent work for sure.
So just to wrap up, so where can people find you, man? If let's say somebody's watching this and they're like, man, I need a lot of help. The truth is, a lot of people need a lot of help with their branding and their marketing. They just don't have any idea where to start. They're not posting as much as they should and all that stuff. So how do they find you? How do they get a hold of you, et cetera?
So my two favorite content channels, number one is Mr. Big Tipnes. All right. So we're pumping content out for Vic. For me, I have my content channel on YouTube. It's called Manuel Suarez. You guys can check it out. Just put my name in it. There's no other Manuel Suarez dude pumping content out. That's the good news.
Is it for real?
Yeah. There's a guy that has a Manuel Suarez username on Instagram. I've been trying to hunt him down. I can't find the guy. He doesn't do anything with the profile. So I have Mr. Manuel Suarez on Instagram, and my YouTube channel is my favorite platform. I recommend that you guys also make YouTube your favorite platform. It's just like YouTube is a media that's always there, right? People are going to find, when somebody searches in the future for content in 7 years, in 27 years, they're still going to find Vic. They're still going to find me on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram. That content disappears, right? It goes into this deep, unending feed of content. So YouTube is always going to be your number one media channel, and it should be so because people keep on discovering. I have people right now that call us because they saw a video that I put out 4 years ago. That's not something that can happen on any other platform. So make YouTube your number one platform. That's my favorite. I'm pumping content out every single week. I'm educating people on the subject of marketing, on building legacies, on strategies that are working. And I usually am one of those guys that I'm walking the talk myself. That's something that I would highly, highly suggest. When you're paying attention to somebody, make sure they're also themselves successful. Don't just listen to somebody that is giving you advice on business building that they haven't built scrap in their entire lives.
Yeah.
You know, the business consultants that don't really build businesses themselves. It doesn't quite make sense, right? So I don't know, man. They might be good. It doesn't make sense. I personally would not take advice from somebody that has not done what I'm trying to do. I wouldn't do so,
I agree.
right?
It's like a dating coach trying to set you up on a date, but she's single.
Yeah, or she's gotten 3 divorces or something, right? Like,
it's like, dude, hold on, but you're single?
No.
And you're trying to set somebody up on a date, a relationship, the matchmaker. It's like, come on, man.
no, you got to audit them. You know, make sure that they're actually the correct people to be giving you advice. If I'm getting advice about how to make money, it should be somebody that has more money than me, right? Like,
that's why I tell people, don't take leadership advice from Simon Sinek. I never take advice from people that have never done it. And you hear this guy, and you know, he's got the accent going for him. You know, I could do that shit. I could put on the English accent if I wanted to. Be like, okay, so today we're going to talk about leadership, you know.
Many people don't know that you're British.
A lot of people don't know I'm British. I got the British accent, but you know, I could put that on and put on some glasses and look smart and all that shit, get a checkered shirt, look like an accountant. But look, I don't do that. right? But my point is that get your advice, like he's saying, like Manuel is saying, get your advice from people that have done it. And if you haven't done it, it's like you got to ask people.
You got to find people that have done it, like Vick, like myself, whatever area you're at, and follow the footsteps. Even if it's just doing a little bit every single day, just follow the footsteps and you will eventually make it. People like him are opening up their doors and they're giving away the information and they're showing you a path for you to take. It's up to you whether you take it or not. It's your decision. So if you don't make it, we did open up the door and we gave you a chance to make it, right? That's what it's all about.
So real quick, just about the Rise event. So
let's talk about it.
I'm putting on the Rise event essentially to bring value and life-changing takeaways for people of all walks of life, right? So this is going to be the world's largest business convention. You're going to have some of the top business people in the world, some of the top entertainers in the world. So if you're somebody who considers yourself the who's who of the world, you know, and you're the number one in your area, whether you're in real estate, healthcare, solar, whatever, you're going to want to be here, right? Not only for the speakers, because the value that they're going to bring and the takeaways, people are going to literally be able to walk away from this event over 3 days with life-changing takeaways that they can implement. This is not a rah-rah. It's not a Tony Robbins, rah-rah motivational event. This is an actual takeaway of how people have scaled their businesses, how people have built and created their own personal brands, et cetera. The takeaway from the speakers is one thing, and then also the takeaway from all the people that you're going to meet.
You're going to connect with a lot of people.
You're going to connect with a lot of people. I'm talking a lot of people. So you're going to want to be there June 16th through the 18th, 2023. Tickets are going to go on sale in November. And wait till you see the list of speakers.
It's going to be quite a show, man.
I mean, it's going to be like...
And if you want to be successful, put yourself in the same room that successful people are at, period.
Yeah, you got to rub elbows with successful people. If you're not rubbing elbows with successful people, then you haven't even showed up to the party yet.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyways, keep an eye out for that. It's going to be awesome.
Yep.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Thanks for being on, bro.
All right, guys, that's it. That's the end of the episode. I hope you were able to gain a lot of value from this. And go ahead, leave us a review, let us know how we're doing, and subscribe so that way you can get the new episodes as they roll out. All right, talk to you later.